Hello, and welcome to Zenith's Video Guide. I think you're going to enjoy our program. It's designed to give you quickly and simply all the information you'll need to help you get the maximum pleasure from your new VCR. To start, note the color-coded video chapters on the back of your cassette sleeve. Each chapter has its own color bar to help you quickly find a specific chapter for later review across the bottom of your screen. As you view each chapter, this color bar will slowly disappear, and that tells you where you are within a chapter. For example, if the color bar is in the middle of your screen, you'll know that you're in the middle of your chapter. Now, this video guide will spur your imagination about the variety of uses for your new VCR. If this is your first experience with video recording and playback, you'll want to view this tape in chapter order, from start to finish, or at least through chapter 7, so you'll know the basics from hookup through playback and TV recording. Just remember, each chapter gives you new information based on what you've learned in previous chapters. On the other hand, if you're an experienced VCR user, you can probably skip around between chapters without too much trouble. Now, this video program will show you how to operate your VCR, but it isn't meant to replace this printed operating guide. So we recommend that you take the time to read it. You'll find additional information in the printed guide that's not included in this video program. One other quick point before we get started. This video guide is meant to be used with the Zenith VR3200 and VR3100 series VCRs. While functions and models are virtually identical, where they are different, I'll point them out as we go along. For simplicity, I'll use the VR3200 as our demonstration model. Let's get started. Let's see. An easy way to get started is to take a quick visual tour of the VCR before we begin discussing features and operations in detail. All primary controls are located on the front panel. Let's start over here on the left with power on/off, tape TV, and the eject buttons. As you already know, your new Zenith VCR has an automatic power-on system. Simply loading a cassette automatically turns on the machine. By the way, see this symbol? Whenever it's displayed, it lets you know there's a cassette inside the machine. If you want to quickly eject the cassette, you don't have to power up the machine to get the cassette out. Simply press this eject button, and just like that, out comes the cassette. The flashing clock means the time needs to be set. To stop it for now, I'll press clock adjust and then press enter twice. We'll come back to the clock a little later. On the right side of your VCR are the main controls for recording and playback, the channel select keypad, and behind here we have the secondary control group. We'll take a closer look at these shortly, but for now, all knobs should be centered and all switches should be set to the left. On this rear panel are the antenna connections and the audio and video input-output jacks. Well, so far so good. Now let's find out more about cassette playback. This is the fun part. For cassette playback, you can operate your VCR in two ways. The first way is with the manual controls on the machine. Notice these special symbols or icons. This icon represents play, fast-forward scan, reverse scan, and pause. So you'll know at a glance what your VCR is doing. You can also use this remote control for VCR operation. If you do, be sure this switch is in the VCR position. In the TV position, this remote will operate many remote controllable Zenith TVs. Okay? To play a cassette, turn on your TV set and tune it to channel 3 or 4. whichever is the unused broadcast channel in your area. Then, on the back of your VCR, set the RF output channel to match the TV channel you've selected.
Since you've already used the manual controls, to start playing a video cassette, why don't you sit back, relax, and use the remote now. And be sure to return this button to the VCR position. This button has the same function as this tape TV button. When the LED is on, that means you can view a picture from a cassette or from broadcast TV using the VCR's tuner.
When the LED is off, that means you can use your TV's tuner to select channels and to view a picture independent of the VCR. This full-function remote is a real convenience. It'll do all the basic operations, including speed search forward, speed search reverse,
Shuttle has cleared the tower.
and pause. Notice that the pause mode gives you a still picture. You can advance frame by frame simply by holding down the pause button. Pressing play returns to regular playback.
20 seconds.
Speaking of pause, occasionally you'll see this message flashing on your screen. It's meant to help you study segments that might otherwise go by too quickly.
For example, at the end of certain chapters, you'll see a high-speed checklist or recap of important points covered in that chapter. To study the checklist, press pause to freeze the image, or hold the pause button down to search through the checklist.
Here's an important point to remember. During playback, if the picture looks like this, or if the sound is distorted or missing, turn the tracking control to clear it up.
When adjusting the tracking for hi-fi sound, make sure the audio out monitor switches are set to stereo and hi-fi.
Before we go on to the next chapter, I'd like to cover a final point.
During tape playback, you can use this control to automatically return to a specific point on the tape. Here's how. First, note the counter position. When you press count reset, the counter will return to 0. Then, when you set this switch labeled counter memory to on, stop the tape and press fast forward or rewind. The tape will automatically stop at or near 0, the point where you press the count reset button.
Well, that about wraps up this chapter, except for the chapter checklist. You probably won't want to study the checklist now, but it'll be very helpful to you in the future as a reference guide to what's covered in this chapter. The title of this chapter, Getting the TV Picture, is really the name of the game, isn't it? Because for full enjoyment of your VCR, you obviously need a picture. So in this chapter, we'll take a brief look at where your TV signal comes from.
All of us are accustomed to changing channels on our TV and seeing the channel we selected come up on the screen. That's because our TV set has a tuner built into it. And this tuner makes it possible for us to receive the TV signal from any available channel in our area.
To understand how this works, think of the TV signal as water flowing through a garden hose. The signal flows from the antenna and into the TV's tuner, and then it flows out again as a picture. Your new VCR also has a tuner built in. So, in a way, it's like a TV set, only without the screen. And, like the water in your garden hose, if you turn it on, the signal flows in here at the back of the VCR and then flows out again directly into your TV. Now, just as two separate garden hoses work independently, one from the front yard and one from the back, the VCR's tuner works independently from the tuner in the TV set, which means you can change from the TV set's tuner to the VCR's tuner or back again anytime you want. Having two independent tuners is why it's possible to record a program on one channel while watching a second program on a different channel. But your VCR can also receive signals directly from a cable TV system, or from a special cable TV signal box like this. Now, one of the things all this means is, since the VCR's tuner works independent of the TV set, we don't need to have the TV turned on when we record a program. That's one of the neat features of having a VCR. Now that we know a little bit about where signals can come from, let's go on to the next chapter and find out how to get the ones you want into your VCR. Well, as you can see from the last chapter, and if you haven't, you really should view it before going on with this one. With all these TV signal possibilities to choose from, the way you hook everything up is very important. That's why we're going to take a few minutes and look at the most common ways to get signals into your VCR and then into your TV set. We'll start with the over-the-air broadcast signals. No matter where the signal comes from, sooner or later it has to go in here.
If the end of your antenna cable is like this, screw it into this antenna input jack.
Your VCR can now receive everything your TV set has been receiving.
On the other hand, the end of your antenna cable may look like this. In that case, you'll need to use the antenna mixer which was packed in with your VCR. Attach the twin antenna UHF and VHF leads to it, like this, and then slip it onto the antenna in jack. Either type of antenna cable can be attached to the VCR.
Again, the tuner in your VCR can now receive everything your TV set has been receiving. The next step is to send signals from your VCR to your TV set. Just in case you've misplaced the quick reference hookup instructions, let's quickly review how to physically hook up your VCR to your TV set.
First, set the RF switch on the VCR to either channel 3 or channel 4. Then, be sure to tune your TV to match the RF channel you've selected on the VCR.
Whichever is the unused broadcast channel in your area. If you're not sure which channel is unused, check the TV program listing in your local newspaper. Next, attach this cable to the VCR antenna output and the other end to the TV antenna input. Now your VCR is hooked up to your TV.
However, if your TV set has antenna terminals similar to this, use the splitter supplied to attach the cable coming from the VCR to the TV, like this.
Both your TV set and your VCR should now be able to receive normal broadcast TV signals. If you don't have cable TV, you may want to go on to the next chapter, because in the remainder of this chapter, we'll be dealing with cable TV considerations. So, if your TV signal comes from a cable TV system, you most likely have a cable that looks like this. If so, simply screw it into this input jack.
Your VCR's tuner is now fully cable compatible, so you should now be able to tune all of your previously available cable channels.
However, some cable TV systems use a special cable box to protect their signals. This complicates the hookup situation somewhat, but there are several hookup options that you can select to suit your particular recording needs.
Here's one example of how to hook up a cable box to your VCR. The cable signal coming into your home is first fed into the input of the cable box, and then fed out the output of the cable box, and into the antenna input jack on the VCR. Then, the VCR output signal is fed to your TV. The advantage of this hookup option is because you are using the cable box for tuning, you can record all available cable TV channels. However, the disadvantage is you can't use your VCR's tuner to make channel selections, since all cable boxes allow only one TV channel at a time into your VCR. As a result, your VCR must be tuned to either channel 3 or channel 4 to get the signal coming from the cable box. This means you can't watch one program while recording a second one. You can't use your remote to change channels, and you can't use the automatic timer to change channels during program timer recordings.
If your cable system protects only certain channels, commonly called premium channels, by scrambling the signal, there is another way to hook up your cable box.
First, connect the cable TV system's antenna cable to the antenna in jack of your VCR. Next, connect one end of the coaxial cable to the antenna out jack of the VCR, and connect the other end to the antenna in jack on the cable box. Then connect the antenna out jack of the cable box to the antenna input on the TV.
The advantage of this hookup option is you get to make channel selections using the VCR's tuner. The disadvantage is you can view premium or so-called scrambled channels, but you can't record them, since any unscrambling of the signal takes place in the decoder box after the signal has already passed through the VCR.
What all this means is, when using your VCR with cable, you may have to choose between the cable TV company's tuner or the tuner in the VCR.
Well, you can relax now. Hooking up the VCR is probably the hardest thing for most people to deal with, and you just went through it. Now, let's take a quick run through the chapter checklist and then go on to chapter 6. Well, now that we've got everything hooked up, let's take a look at selecting channels. Your Zenith VCR's tuner can receive up to 178 UHF, VHF, and CATV channels, and the new generation of HRC cable channels as well. Here's how it works.
Set the mode select switch to the tuner position. Next, for normal broadcast TV channels, set the band select switch to the TV position, or CATV for cable channels, or HRC for HRC cable channels.
If you're not sure you've got HRC in your area, select your CATV position.
Then, tune your VCR to a cable channel using the VCR's tuner. Then, switch back and forth between HRC and CATV and see which gives the best picture and tuning response time. By the way, if your TV is equipped with band or AFC switches, their position should match that of your VCR. Next, for normal broadcast TV channels, set the automatic frequency control or AFC switch to normal. For CATV or HRC channel viewing, set the AFC switch to special.
The AFC will automatically fine-tune the video signal.
Now, press the Tape TV button to the tape position. You'll note the LED light appears to show you you're using the VCR's tuner. To select a channel, press the channel number you want and enter, or use the channel scan control. Also, these same channel selection functions are available on the remote, including channel scan and direct access.
Here's a handy feature. For faster access to your favorite channels, you can bypass unwanted channels. Here's how.
Enter the channel number you want to eliminate. Let's select 5 and press Skip. You'll see PO flash briefly. That tells you the channel has been pulled out of the scanning sequence. So when you use scan controls to tune this way, you'll quickly scan only the channels you really want to see. To restore channel 5 to the scanning sequence, simply re-enter the number as if you were changing channels.
You'll be happy to know a power failure won't erase the choices you've made. The VCR will remember your favorite channels when the power is restored.
One final note about the keypad. This is the display panel brightness control. Pressing the dim button dims the display. Pressing it again returns the display to normal brightness. You can also use the remote control for both channel scan and direct access on any TV. Just make sure the TV is tuned to the output channel of your VCR, either channel 3 or 4. The VCR TV switch is set to VCR, and this switch has been pressed once for tape.
In fact, you can use your Zenith VCR to make any manually tuning TV into a remote-controlled TV by using the VCR's built-in tuner. That's quite a bonus. Now, here's the chapter checklist. Before we get into the steps in recording, there are 3 helpful things you should know. First, here's a handy reference chart of video, cassette, and recording playback times.
It will help you to choose the right length cassette for your recording. The faster SP speed will give you the best picture quality, and the slower EP speed provides the longest playing time. Secondly, use this switch to manually select the recording speed you want, whether your tape is new or already contains recorded material. You can tell how much recording time you have left on a cassette by using the tape remaining counter. To do this, first set the tape remain switch to the length cassette you're going to use for recording. Now, load your cassette. Before you start recording, press the Count Remain button. Once you start recording, the remaining time available will be displayed.
Okay, let's record a TV program. First, load a cassette with the safety tab in place.
Check the switch positions for tuner, band, and AFC. Select the tape recording speed and the tape length. Now, select the channel on your VCR, or use the remote control for channel selection. However, if you're using a cable TV box to select the channel, you'll have to tune the VCR to either channel 3 or 4, the output of most cable boxes. Now you're ready to record. Hold record and press play. The red circle icon indicates the VCR is recording.
Here are a few more helpful hints to make your recording life happier. Pause will temporarily stop the recording without causing a visual break or glitch in the picture during playback.
Also, if the cassette is missing this safety tab, you can't record with it, unless you cover the hole with a piece of tape. And remember, if the tape reaches the end during manual recording, the VCR will automatically stop and rewind to the beginning.
This is probably what you've been waiting for. We'll record this channel using the VCR's tuner, just as we did a moment ago. But now, we'll just press Tape TV
And then you can watch whatever channel you select on the TV without affecting your VCR's recording. That's all there is to recording one channel while watching another.
But that's not the only way your new VCR can record. For instance, this button lets you start recording a program instantly.
First,
Go through the normal steps to get ready for recording. Then, when you want to record, just select the channel and press this button twice.
recording starts immediately. Notice the tape counter display has switched to the instant record stop, which tells us the VCR will record for 30 minutes, then automatically shut off. Each time the instant record button is pushed, we can add another 30 minutes, up to a maximum of 4 hours. And once instant recording is begun, using the keypad, you can set any stop time up to 8 hours.
The recording time you selected will count down to 0.
And the power will switch off automatically. Pressing stop terminates instant recording at any time. Here are some helpful reminders to quickly check before you start recording.
One of the most exciting features of the VR3200 is its ability to record and playback broadcast stereo TV, or MTS, multi-channel television sound programs. In Chapter 9, we'll be talking in detail about stereo audio recording. Briefly though, here are the steps to follow for recording stereo TV.
If TV stereo programs are available in your area, set the audio mode switch to stereo, this switch to level, and the AGC switch to auto.
The rest of the steps are the same as for recording a regular monaural TV program. Well, that about does it for this chapter, except for the chapter checklist. So, here it comes. This chapter is all about time, and for once, how to make time work for you. Your new VCR has a 14-day, 8-event timer for automatic recording of up to 8 different programs on different channels at different times. The clock plays an important role in all of this, so let's adjust it to the correct time.
Press clock adjust, and then when the day starts flashing, press today's day and enter the correct time, AM or PM, and enter once more.
It's easier than setting a digital watch. Whatever is flashing indicates the information you need to enter. Now, let's program the first event of the automatic timer.
To begin, press Program. Notice number 1 flashes indicating the first event. Pressing Enter tells the machine to start programming event 1. The flashing indicates the next step to program, day. Pressing the day you want and then enter programs this step. Now, program the time you want the recording to start, AM or PM, and enter it. We program the stop time the same way. For every start time entered, a stop time must also be entered. Finally, enter the channel number and tape speed to complete programming. If you notice an error in the previously entered step, just press the button labeled Next or Back to return to a previous step for correction. One last thing. If you enter an invalid channel, say channel 99, when your signal band switch is set to TV for regular broadcast reception, the timer won't accept it. That's your cue to re-enter a valid channel.
If you want to program additional record times, you have up to 8 events available to use.
Simply repeat these same steps. Then, when you're all through setting the timer, press Clock Adjust and return to the normal clock display. The last step is to turn on the timer by pressing this button. The VCR will automatically record each program at the time and day you've set. To program a show for a second week, press Second, Enter, the day of the week, and Enter. The rest of the steps are the same as before.
Now that you know the basics of auto-record programming, here are a few tips to make your choice even easier. Want to record your favorite series?
Program it once, then just press Repeat. How about the nightly news? It's easy. Just press Daily and follow the same steps as before.
Once the timer is set,
you can check the start and stop times entered for each event by pressing Program. If you find an event you don't want to keep, just press the Cancel button. It's important to note that with the timer display on, no other VCR functions are available. To return to manual operation, turn the timer off. If the word timer is flashing, it means something is wrong. In this case, the cassette safety tab is missing. Here are some common programming errors. The start and stop times for this event are the same, so nothing will be recorded. Here's another common mistake. Notice that when we compare the programming for events 6 and 7, the only difference is the channel. Since you can't record 2 events at the same time, even if the channels are different, the lowest program event, number 6, would have priority. Event 7 wouldn't get recorded. Here's another possible programming mistake. Event 3 is programmed to record until 4. Event 4 is programmed to start recording on the same day at 3:30. 30 minutes before Event 3 is programmed to stop recording. Because recording times for Event 3 and 4 overlap, the last half hour of Event 3 will not be recorded. Event 3 will be interrupted by Event 4, starting its programmed recording.
now, here's something you might watch for.
Notice that the numbers 1, 4, and 6 are missing.
If these events have been programmed but didn't appear on the display when the timer is pressed, it's your clue that something's wrong.
Pressing Program steps you through the events. In this case, Event 1 has no stop time programmed. In Event 4, the start and stop times are the same. Event 6 has no stop time or channel entered. Any event can be corrected or reprogrammed in the same way you would normally program. Here's a list of some of the common errors you might want to be aware of.
One final reminder, if the tape runs out during timer recording, the VCR will stop and automatically eject the cassette. That's so the automatic timer won't accidentally re-record over your cassette. For additional details about the auto-record timer, please consult your VCR's printed operating guide. Well, we've covered quite a bit of information so far, and there's some real excitement coming up in the next chapter, stereo recording. But first, a word from our checklist. purchased your Zenith VCR to record video programs, but you now own one of the finest audio recorders available for use, with performance specifications approaching those of laser discs. The reason your VCR's audio performance is so terrific is because of the way the signals are recorded.
The stereo signal is laid down here on an angle, and the monaural signal is laid down here along the edge of the tape.
Now, let's see how to take advantage of all that audio performance. First, we need to connect the VCR to a stereo source, such as an amplifier or stereo receiver.
We start by plugging these audio cables into these two audio out jacks on the VCR. The audio signal comes from the left channel audio out on the VCR and goes to the left channel audio in on the stereo source. Repeat the same step for the right channel. To get the signal into your VCR for stereo recording, come out of the left channel audio out on the stereo source and into the left channel audio in on the VCR. Then do the same for the right channel.
In reality, there's no way of knowing exactly how these input and output jacks will be labeled. Names and practices differ between different stereos and amplifiers, but the idea is the same, even if the labels are different. I think that's enough of an introduction. Let's quickly go through the steps to record a stereo simulcast program.
First, set the mode switch to simulcast. This audio out monitor switch selects the audio channel. Make sure it's set to stereo. The second audio out monitor switch selects the track. Set it to hi-fi. The indicator switch should be set to level and the AGC switch to manual. This position will allow you to adjust the left and right audio channels so the peak level indicators just peak in the red. When the AGC switch is in the auto position, hi-fi signal level control is automatic. Then tune your AM/FM stereo receiver to the station broadcasting the sound for simulcast program.
The rest of the steps are the same as for recording a TV program. As you can see, there really isn't much to do to get set up for simulcast recording. Now, if MTS stereo TV broadcasts are available in your area, you can use the built-in stereo decoder in the VR3200 to record them. Let's start here with some important switch settings, beginning with the audio mode select switch. Use this switch in the stereo position when you want to record multi-channel sound stereo programs broadcast by a TV station in your area. In the mono position, even stereo signals are recorded in mono, here and along here. This position is for second audio programs, often a foreign language, recorded along the edge of the tape, here. These indicators tell you whether stereo or second audio programs are being received. If you want to record both stereo and second audio soundtracks, set the audio mode switch to second audio. Here's a piece of welcome news for many people. You can record up to 8 hours of VHS hi-fi stereo on a single VHS cassette. That's a lot of music listening. Here's how you do it. Just set the mode select switch to the auxiliary position. Then proceed with the normal steps for recording stereo audio from a receiver. In addition to a receiver, though, you can record from a stereo LP turntable, an audio cassette deck, or a laser compact disc player. Recording stereo sound from any one of these audio sources is basically the same as connecting any stereo source. Audio components should be plugged into the audio in jacks at the back of the VCR. But that's not all. We've barely scratched the surface of your VCR's talents. For example, it's an outstanding audio dubbing machine, so you can add your own custom monaural sound to your videos without affecting the hi-fi track. To perform audio dubbing, set this switch to either the normal position to monitor only the sound you're adding, or to the mix position to monitor both the sound being added and the sound on the hi-fi track. Now, getting ready to dub in a new audio track is similar to the steps in playing back a cassette.
Play back the tape until you locate the point where you want to add the new audio. Press pause, then press audio dub, hold it, and press play. And at the same time, start your new audio from whatever source you're using. You can press stop when you're finished dubbing in the new sound. Play it back, and you've just made your own custom program.
Zenith VHS Hi-Fi. It opens up a whole new world of audio-video enjoyment. Now, here's your chapter checklist.
Sounds larger than life, waiting to be captured by your Hi-Fi VCR. And the perfect sounds to capture are the sounds of the superstars in concert on HBO. Month after month, HBO brings home the great sounds of great performers in concert, and all are simulcast in FM stereo, like this one.
Ladies and gentlemen!
Information about installing HBO in your home, call your local cable company.
Ladies and gentlemen, Embassy Home Entertainment welcomes you to experience the best in high-quality video entertainment.
At the Cotton Club,
I'm talking about barbecue.
you'll find the greatest stars in entertainment and the gangsters who own them.
This is why we work so hard, to live the way that kings and princes live in this world.
The Cotton Club, where deals are made, lives are traded, and the giants of jazz light up the night.
The Cotton Club from Orion Pictures, now available on video cassette, CED, and laser video disc from Embassy Home Entertainment.
War in the Pacific. America's armies are guided by one man. Douglas MacArthur, a thundering paradox of a man. He is the most gifted general America has produced. Always he has a monumental will to win and to rule, and he becomes an American Caesar.
A generation grew up obsessed with Vietnam. 1946, France and the Viet Minh People's Liberation Army go to war. 1975, North Vietnamese troops overrun Saigon. Between these dates, 10,000 days of war.
Homecomings. Sweethearts.
All right, all right. Say, what's the big Freddie!
The best years of our lives is one film that no one should be without.
Don't you see what he's been doing? He's been using you to be near me, to smile at me behind your back, to try to rouse something in my heart that's dead.
Go on! Shoot, you puling chicken of a man with not enough blood in your veins to keep your hands steady.
I want home and family and a 27-piece fan.
They're curious, hilarious, spontaneous, and fantabulous. They're the Berenstain Bears, and they'll keep kids from 6 to 60 laughing and learning with their entertaining exploits. Everyone has fun when the Berenstain Bears are around. From classics to children's treasures to box office hits, Embassy Home Entertainment has it all.